Hello everyone and welcome to another comic review. I know it's been a while with the comic reviews, but I promise I will have those videos out sooner rather than later. Today I'll be reviewing the comic book sequel to the Power Rangers 2017 film, titled Power Rangers Aftershock. Hit it! Power Rangers Aftershock is the only follow-up to the 2017 film. It was written by Ryan Parrott and distributed by Boom Studios. It was released on March 28, 2017. Spoiler alert if you haven't read the comic yet, but you should already know what I'm going to say next. So without further ado, let's get into Power Rangers Aftershock. 1 week after what everyone in Angel Grove is calling the encounter, many people have lost their homes and businesses. Schools and shelters are filled to the max. There's also people still missing. Colton, the chief of Angel Grove Police, is stretched thin until a dozen of relief vehicles come to the rescue. Melanie Shear, the field administrator for the Samaritan Relief, apologizes for the long wait, but they are here to help. Chief Colton gives the okay and is given no restrictions to them. She then gets on the comm stating that they have the green light to deploy. They have 72 hours until the hard questions start being asked. On the outskirts of Angel Grove, we are joined by Trini and Jason as they fight off putty stragglers due to the Goldar remains being scattered throughout the city. As Jason gives commands, Trini kids around calls him boss, which Jason pleads not to be called that. At another location, we join Billy, Kimberly, and Zach as they fight more putties. Billy is still amazed at their new abilities, but Zach takes it as Billy is complaining about being awesome. As the three keep up a casual conversation while fighting, a putty puts a family in danger by kicking their van to the edge of the cliff. Billy holds the van while Zach gets the majority of the family out, but Billy loses his grip and the van tips over with the father inside. While Zach and Billy felt like there was nothing they can do. So you mean to tell me that you could not leap off a cliff and catch the civilian and use your body while you hit the ground with little to no damage to the civilians whatsoever? That was just dumb in my opinion. Anyway, the only competent person, Kimberly, uses a cable to swing and catches the civilian, saving them. Back at the command center, Zordon congratulates the Rangers and his faith in them is growing. Zordon says if they keep this up, then the Goldar dust and Rita's magic will be eradicated from Angel Grove. The Rangers try to chalk it up like it's nothing, and Zordon wants them to go home and try to maintain a normal life for the time being. If Alpha were to find something, if there's more putty activity, he will call the Rangers. As the other Rangers leave, Zordon speaks with Jason privately. Zordon questions if Jason can still lead the team, feeling offended, stating that they just saved the world on their first mission. However, Zordon says one victory does not make a team. He also says that Jason has been relying on luck to lead rather than have the skill. Jason is frustrated that they know each other for weeks, and Zordon is mad that they're not the Beatles yet, like Zordon knows pop culture, or does he? Zordon says since the Power Rangers are back, new threats are coming. They will be more powerful and dangerous like they've never been before. 12 miles outside of Angel Grove, we are joined by Audrey and Jacob Hogan, twins that were in the juvenile system but luckily escaped during the encounter. Audrey plans for them to steal a car and go as far south as possible, but there was a small glimmer of hope for them to be there to watch Angel Grove burn to the ground. As Jacob goes for firewood, he finds a putty and he goes to touch it to see if the gold is real, but is immediately grabbed as he screams for his sister. At the pit, Zach trains hard and Billy says that Zach needs at least 9 hours of sleep. Annoyed, Zach just wants to practice in peace. Billy knows what's bothering Zach and tries to get him not to beat himself up, but Zach doesn't want to hear it. He's not used to screwing up and he will never let it happen again. Need I remind you, Zach? But never mind. As Jason drove Kimberly home, surprisingly, the suburbs were unaffected as Jason says that his parents are upset due to the lawn being a little brown. Wow, even in comic book form, Jason's dad is petty. Jason asks Kimberly if he's a good leader, and she figured out why Jason stayed behind. Kimberly suggests that Jason should start listening to the team if he wants to lead. Jason wants to talk to her about their feelings for one another, but is interrupted by an explosion in the city. Melanie managed to find the Rangers through thermal imaging and heads out with her team. Jason and Kimberly made it to the scene and started to save civilians. One of the civilians points out that the couples will cause the explosion, and it was Audrey and a mutated Jacob. Jacob can sense Goldar's dust in the area and directs Audrey so she can attain power herself. As Kimberly and Jason begin to fight Jacob, Jacob tells him that he felt like he fought them 1,000 times. This means that Jacob has memories of the putties that the Rangers previously destroyed. Jacob throws a radiator to harm innocent civilians, but Kimberly uses a manhole cover as a frisbee to intercept it, saving the civilians. As Jason tells the civilians to run, Jacob catches Jason off guard. He then throws the manhole cover at Kimberly. As Audrey tried to repeat the same transformation that her brother went through, nothing happens. Back at the fight, the other Rangers show up to turn the tide of the fight, but it still wasn't enough to fight Jacob. Audrey comes back and tells Jacob that something was wrong and they need to retreat. To cover their escape, Jacob attempts to bury the Rangers by collapsing a building. With no time to think, Billy tells the others to form the Triangle of Life, an earthquake survival tactic by crouching next to a large stable object to create a protection zone from collapsing material. It was a theory of Billy's until it was put to the test, and it worked. Jason wants to go after them, but Trini states that they are long gone. Back at the command center, the Rangers want to be kept in the loop and wonder if Rita is still alive. Zordon says that she is indirectly, but it's Goldar's dust that his remains are in a reactive alloy. Billy thought that the dust would only reanimate putties, not some putty monster. Zordon says that Goldar's dust was infused with Rita's magic with her resolve for the Zeal Crystal. Even though the sentience is fading, it wants to find a host. Billy says that he knows of the Hogan twins. Their father died alongside with Billy's dad in the same mining accident. After that, they had a pretty rough life. Jason wants to split up and find them, but Trini disagrees. Jason laid it out simply: if she doesn't feel like helping, she is more welcome to stay in the command center. Fed up with the others, Jason says that they can do whatever they want and he's going out to find the Hogan twins himself. Back in Angel Grove, Chief Colton helps injured civilians to safety. Tired and overwhelmed, he feels that it was just yesterday that the most he did was to direct traffic jams. Meanwhile, Melanie and his subordinates search the area that Audrey was snooping around in, and they only have minutes until Colton figures out their ulterior motives. Later, Audrey manages to bond with the putty and she feels the memories and the power flowing through her. She decided to let Angel Grove that it's time for them to look up to them for a change as energy started to explode from her body. Back at the command center, Jason apologizes to the others and he confesses that he doesn't know what he's doing and is scared every time they go out as Rangers. He fears that he could make the wrong call and cost the team their lives. Alpha 5 contacts the Rangers and tells them that the Hogan twins are back. Audrey and Jacob combine themselves to make a giant monster and start to attack the city. The Rangers show up in their Zords and the fight begins. The twins are formidable and push the Rangers back. As Zach pins them down, Kimberly tried to swoop in, but the Hogan twins managed to swat Kimberly away. Jason tries to push back, but the Hogan twins played around and treated Jason like a dog and tossed him away. Bored, Audrey wants to forget the Rangers and head towards the relief camp and kill everyone. The Rangers try to figure out a plan and Jason figures it's time to combine their Zords. Chief Colton attempts to evacuate the camp as the Hogan twins show up, causing chaos and destruction. The Rangers show up with their Megazord and gain the upper hand against the Hogan twins. I don't know why they just didn't combine their Zords in the first place, because the Zords in this universe individually are weaker. The Megazord cuts off the head of the monster and the Rangers rejoice, but Kimberly says what's stopping them from making another one, giving Billy an idea. Zach finds the two and asks them to surrender. Naturally, the two don't, which didn't surprise Zach as he was distracted long enough for Kimberly and Jason to electrocute them. As Angel Grove suffers no fatalities, Melody finds the Hogan twins solid as a rock but still alive. Jason shouts from above that the power the two had is contained and the two are no longer a threat. Billy states that they electro-crystallized the two to phase shift to liquid into a solid state. Chief Colton blames them for the trouble they caused this past few weeks, but Jason says without them they would have lost and tells them that they are the good guys. As the Rangers leave, Melanie offers to house the Hogan twins in their medical facility. Chief Colton appreciates it, but he wants Melanie to take them and get out of his town because he knows more than what Melanie is putting on, but she denies it. But she promises that she is here to help. Kimberly thanks Trini for helping Jason focus and wants to let Jason know that they are behind him, but Trini says that she's not with all that rah-rah stuff. She says that within her family, if someone loves her, they annoy and nag you all day and they barrel all for it. Kimberly figured that Trini does care about the team. The Rangers were called again, meaning there was another putty to deal with. They head to the location and Zach finds the severed arm that Melody found, which means that it was a trap. The Rangers get surrounded with guns pointing at them and Melody introduces herself and she says she works for Apex, which Billy knows about through the dark web. She tells the Rangers that they are not here to fight as of yet. She tells the Rangers while their efforts are impressive, the American government doesn't want aliens to fight their battles. Jason stands his ground and says that they don't work for them. Melanie calls off her men and tells the Rangers to fight the good fight, but threatens if they step out of line, she will come back with bigger guns. The comic ends with Melanie saying that they can keep the hand because she has the Hogan twins to experiment on, and she will be watching the Rangers. Sadly, this was only the graphic novel visiting the 2017 Power Rangers universe. 5 years and they just abandoned the idea of 7 planned films in comic book form. This franchise deserved better. The actors portraying the beloved characters deserve better. We as fans deserve better, and the writers of this graphic novel deserve better. Letting critics slam the movie, I can almost guarantee that none of them were fans or just only watched the show up until Power Rangers Zeo. It's all about money when it comes to Power Rangers, and that is the franchise's ultimate enemy. Disney owned Power Rangers until Saban brought it back in 2010 for less than $100 million, giving us false promises of great things to come. But once Super Mega Force flopped and a slightly better anniversary season, Ninja Steel came along, Saban sold Power Rangers again to Hasbro. But let's talk about Disney for a moment. A known creator known as Linkara. His channel is called Atop the Fourth Wall Where Bad Comics Burn. He does a series called History of Power Rangers where he does full retrospectives of past Power Ranger seasons. To quote the best I can from the video, he says that Disney loathes Power Rangers to a point where they wanted to either do reruns or dub the Sentai. When it was moved to Nickelodeon, they were no better. They spread 40 episodes for 2 years while barely promoting it. Hell, we didn't even get a promotion for Dino Fury. It was like a week before the show even premiered. Once it premiered, 8 episodes in, they go on a season hiatus until late in that year. Also, they'll skip episodes for a SpongeBob marathon before the Kids' Choice Awards. Who the hell cares about the Kids' Choice Awards? I sure as hell don't. Regardless of the new reboot, brought by Hasbro and moving Power Rangers to Netflix, to sum everything up, the heads of pop culture or the studios or whoever does not care about Power Rangers at all. They won't cancel it just because it brings in just enough money. I hope that it changes in the future. Sorry about that, I just need to say this. It wasn't on my mind at first when I wrote the previous video for the Power Rangers 2017 movie, but nonetheless, I hope you agree with me. Power Rangers Aftershock shows immediately what happens after Rita tried to take the Zeo Crystal. This begs me to question, was this after the mid-credit scene introducing Tommy or before? It could be either or. Despite how small Angel Grove is, it can endure multiple alien attacks within a week of each other. That's saying a lot. Apex, even though they were a secret government agency, took their time to get to Angel Grove to investigate. Melody must not be a very good agent because it took no time for Chief Colton to put 2 and 2 together. By the end, she keeps a close eye on the Rangers. This gives me the feeling that she may stumble upon the Rangers' identities. If she does, it's up in the air whether or not she will keep their identities safe or exploit them. The Hogan twins got the short end of life. Their father died in the same mining accident as Billy's dad, but it was all downhill for them then, being in the juvenile system and people looking down at them. They hate Angel Grove and wanted nothing more than to see it burned by their hands. They were formidable enemies for the Rangers, as the Goldar Dust fueled their rage and resentment. However, they were defeated by the Rangers and became lab rats for Apex. I wonder if they had the last of Goldar's dust. It seems that something that powerful doesn't just go away like that. It would have created a great villain for the Rangers, maybe infecting someone that the Rangers know, making it personal for them, creating small mini arcs, and adapting the monsters of the day from the original series. The people I would choose, and this is pure speculation and fanfiction on my part, to become villains, so take this with a grain of salt. First up, remember the bully that got knocked out by Billy in the movie? Well, I would choose him to get infected by Goldar's dust, testing Billy physically and mentally by standing up to someone who has more power than him. For Kimberly, she can have 1 or 2. The guy, the 2 she's punched out, and the cheerleaders that made her a pariah. Kimberly could have overcome her guilt and take responsibility for the people she hurt mentally and physically. For Trini, it could have been an old girlfriend that she wanted to keep a secret. To save the day, she has to fight the girlfriend Unmorph to get through to her, outing herself as either gay or bisexual. Zack, it could go either 2 ways. You notice when his mother got better miraculously towards the end of the movie? How do we know that some of the Goldar dust didn't get inside her, slowly healing her at first and then it takes her over? And Zack has to make the tough choice to either let her keep destroying the city alive or expel the Goldar dust from her and she dies, making Zack even more closed off and depressed. Luckily, the team will be there to confront him, straighten the team even more. Now with Jason, I know y'all will like this one. With Jason's dad, Sam, he could have gotten exposed to the dust as well, but he probably would have gotten contact with a significant amount to mutate him to look more like Goldar from the TV show. and the story could expand for a couple of issues with the Rangers trying to figure out the identity of this new Goddard. And then Jason's father would have completely taken over by the dust and transformed at will. In the finale, Goddard would have broken to the command center, cutting the Rangers off from Zordon before he told the Rangers of their identity. Jason would have been conflicted, as you do, while pulling his punches. Thankfully, Billy finds another way to save Sam by using the Zeo Crystal's pure energy to expel Goddard once and for all. However, by using the Zeo Crystal, set off a beacon for others to come for it, like Rita, Lord Zed, and the Machine Empire, just to name a few. But all of this is pure fan fiction at best on my part as far as Goddard Dust goes. You could expand this story arc by testing the Rangers and further developing each of their characters. Speaking of character development, I feel that Jason was the character focus of this comic. He feels the pressure of being a leader. With any leader, you have the fear of making the wrong choice, and one of his teammates will pay the price for it. Zordon wasn't any help either. He kept scolding him just because they stopped Rita. It doesn't make them a team. You know, none of them asked for this, and the last time I checked, they just learned that things are bigger than themselves and want to help out. It looks like that deleted scene from the movie to where he and Kimberly shared a kiss was canon. However, they only expanded upon it in a very brief moment. So if there was a movie sequel, that Tommy love triangle could have played out. By the final battle with the Hogan twins, he almost cracked under pressure until Trini managed to snap him out of it and led the team to victory. I felt that Jason has a long way to go. He's on his way to being an effective leader, especially after dealing with a major threat that was only a few days apart. In conclusion, Power Rangers Aftershock is a perfect sequel, even though this universe is done for as far as we know it. It's just the same though, I was rooting for this version of Power Rangers to go as far. But here we are. That's all for today. If there's a comic book, TV show, anime, special video idea, or movie you want me to check out and make a video of, let me know. My contact information will be listed below. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you all next time.